What are the Millennium Development Goals? The Millennium Development Goals are 8 international development goals that were officially established following the Millennium Summit of the United Nations in 2000. All 193 United Nations member states have agreed to achieve these goals by the year 2015. Each goal has specific stated targets and dates for achieving those targets. So what are the goals? 1. Eradicate extreme poverty and hunger. Around 1 billion people live on less than $1 per day, and around 800 million people go hungry every day. 2. Achieve universal primary education. The target is for all children, boys and girls, to complete a full course of primary schooling. 133 million young people cannot read or write. 3. Promote gender equality and empower women. To eliminate gender disparity in primary and secondary education. 2/3 of the world's illiterate people are female. 4. Reduce child mortality by 2/3 for children under 5. Over 9 million people under the age of 5 die each year, mostly from preventable diseases. 5. Improve maternal health. Reduce by 3/4 the maternal mortality ratio. 6. Combat HIV and AIDS, malaria and other diseases. The aim is to halt, then begin to reverse the incidence of HIV and AIDS, malaria and other major diseases. 7. Ensure environmental sustainability. Over 2.4 billion people lack access to proper sanitation facilities, and 1 billion people lack access to drinkable water. 8. Develop a global partnership. Developed countries to work with developing countries to provide the resources and structures needed to meet these targets. With these being some of the most serious problems that our world faces, and with such high ambitions to try and fix them, why is there hardly any awareness? In developed countries such as Australia, where a lot of resources and money would be coming from, majority of the population does not even know about the Millennium Development Goals. In Australia, over 85% of the population has no awareness of this cause, and similar trends in other developed countries as well, with majority of the country's population not knowing of this cause. To deal with issues as widespread as these ones, this cannot simply be dealt with by a few select politicians. This has to be a global effort to stop poverty. Australia currently only spends 0.34% of our gross national income towards foreign aid. The government has pledged to raise this to 0.5% of gross national income by 2015. But Australia still lags behind many other developed countries, with Britain pledging to raise its money given towards foreign aid by 0.7%. The UN Millennium Project's analysis indicates that 0.7% of developed countries' gross national income can provide enough resources to meet the Millennium Development Goals, but developed countries must follow through on these commitments. If every developed country strived to provide 0.7% of its gross national income to this cause, the targets would be on set to be achieved. Several of the UN's 8 Millennium Goals have seen little progress, and at the current pace, the target will not be reached. Among the furthest off the mark, the goal by reducing by 3/4 the maternal mortality rate, and that of reducing 2/3 of the mortality rate of children under 5. There are many consequences due to poverty, social and economic. Poorer people have a lower life expectancy. It creates social tensions and threatens to divide nations because of the issue of inequality. In poorer areas, crime is more likely to be engaged in. Poverty creates illiteracy, leaving people poorly informed about risks and are forced into dangerous jobs that harm their well-being. Crime also causes personal costs on their victims, as well as the cost to the taxpayer for administering the social justice. Taxes must be used to help assist people who live under the poverty line. And one of the biggest effects of poverty is health. In poorer countries, they do not have the adequate health system to treat people who cannot afford it. No awareness about diseases, so they are vulnerable and they spread rapidly. Poverty forces people to live in environments that make them sick without decent shelter, clean water, or adequate sanitation. Poverty creates hunger, which makes them weak and vulnerable. In 2001, UN Secretary General, as he addressed the World Health Assembly, said, "The biggest enemy of health in the developing world is poverty." What are some strategies that could help this issue? Make more realistic goals. Start small and progress from there. If we make big, unrealistic goals, it will never happen. Governments must follow through on their promises. And most importantly, global awareness. So what would the best strategy be? The most successful strategy would be global awareness, as even if you make the goals smaller, if there is not enough awareness, the current situation will remain. If people become passionate and let their leaders know, it creates pressure on them to perform and solve this issue. People need to become aware of this issue and learn that we can stop poverty and make it history. As you can see in this map, Australia has a very low poverty rate. Like all countries, Australia has its difficulties and struggles, but Australia is still considered the number one place to live in the world by numerous organisations. Due to a high level of employment, laws to protect our rights, free education provided, healthcare to everyone, proper sanitation and shelter, access to clean water. We are not overpopulated like countries, and we are free from diseases that other countries struggle against. Even for the small percentage of Australians that live in poverty, we still have access to healthcare, and there are organisations to help them out. So Australia is the lucky country.